The future is here, and in the last 12 months, I've started to hear the phrase Generation Z. So sort of like millennials have been around for so long now. Oh, shit.
Yeah, no. You're doing it for me? Yeah.
I will do it for you, no,
because you're doing quite well.
Millennials are old hat. We're all millennials now. This is about the future workplace and Generation Z. So it's got one of my favourite quotes on one of the slides. So let me know when you're ready to go.
Not just yet. My name's Franki Johnson, and I inspire and educate leaders to embrace the change in future generations. So in short, what the hell does that mean? I'm an employee engagement specialist for Generation Z. Go on, hit it. Oh no, next one. Give me the first 15 seconds. Gone too fast. Oh, there we go. Our world has changed. Expectations have heightened, and to be able to empower the future workforce, we must first understand the mindsets of the people within it. I often see the statement, generational differences in the workplace are a myth. Are they? That depends on how we approach it. There's mountains of statistical evidence to prove that generational differences in the workplace are a myth, and that we shouldn't treat those that fall into the birthrights of Xers and Boomers any differently to those that fall into the birthrights of Generation Z and Millennials. I don't think this is moving. I actually don't think it's moving.
Does anyone know anything better than PowerPoint? That's my technique right now. So. Okay, that's good.
Are you skipping it for me then?
I'm going to skip it for you. Just give me a nudge and I'll be there.
Yeah, it's fine. So why are millennials and Generation Z leaving a job 6 months later if we treat everyone the same? And why are the older generations complaining about the younger generations with the self-entitled snowflake labels and vice versa? See, here's the thing. Generations aren't defined by birth years, but by significant events at critical cognitive development stages that shape the characteristics and behaviors of a generation. Hence, a new generation is born, and theorists or the media begins to label it. Now, everyone has a birthright to a generation, but if we approach the concept that you do not fall into a generation by birth, but by the mindset, communication methods, and behaviors that you choose to adopt, then you could live in a mindset that constantly adopts efficient change. In fact, due to increasing work-life expectancy and rapid technological advancements, we could see generations shorten to only 4 to 5 years long, right? Which means by 2080, we could experience up to 15 generational differences operating in the workplace at once. That's crazy, right? Now, this is the concept of a post-generational world, where in a fast-paced environment, we must not look to treat each generation differently, but stay open to embracing change and keeping our workforce systems, mindsets, and processes as up to date as the next generation coming through. Because we're experiencing the shift between the industrial and digital world, and let me tell you, the generational differences are real. It's how someone chooses to communicate by email, by letter, by Snapchat. It's the difference in the platforms we use to find our jobs, the apps we use, the music we listen to, the way we shop, game, research, train, learn, and date. And we need to be looking to keep our workforce systems, processes, mindsets up to date as the next generation coming through all the time, and be embracing change. Because what we tend to be good at is waiting for the next generation to come through, adapting our systems 10 years too late when the majority of talent has left, feeling like we can't please anyone, so we give up and we deal with high staff turnover and a demotivated workforce instead. So perhaps for Boomers and Xers, many of the Millennial and Generation Z expectations will still be desirable elements at work. However, if we constantly design our strategy around the highest expectations of our workforce, then we will constantly exceed the original expectations of previous generations. Therefore, not only creating an engaged generation, but an engaged organization in its entirety. And the best chance employers have to create an engaged organization is to first understand the current environment. Then identify any issues that could be blocking the flow of engagement, listen to your employees, and then take a holistic approach with help from solution providers to rectifying your strategy and your systems. We now need to create collaborative workforces where we understand what inspires our people to perform at their natural best. We need to develop cultures where we understand where people are ultimately happy and they're productive. And a mindset and culture shift in a workplace environment could transform an obedient and compliant workforce into one that's innovative, collaborative, creative, and most importantly, loyal to our brand and culture. So to prepare for the creation of a multi-generational workforce, we need to be curious, not angry about what the younger generations are made of, because they're the ones bringing us the freshest perspective. They're the ones bringing us the most digitally efficient communication methods and behaviors. I love the quote, Generation Z is not a birthright, it's a choice. Because this inspires people not to label themselves or judge others or give an excuse for our behaviors, but it opens our mind to what our world and ways of learning and thinking might look like by constantly embracing the future. Can't remember what I was saying on this one. Generation Z have been brought up in a world completely different to those of their leaders, and I am on a mission to educate and inspire leaders to understand and adopt the changes of future generations so that our people and our business can thrive in the future. Thank you.